What essence for Laevatain? What essence for Administrator? If you've reached the endgame and you're asking these questions, you have a fundamental misunderstanding of the essence system in this game, and that's okay. The essence system in this game is unlike other gacha games which you might be used to. Essences are Enfield's equivalent to similar gacha games' endgame RNG grinds, such as Honkai Star Rail's Relic grind or Wuthering Waves' Echo grind. In the endgame, essences drop with 3 random stats and are socketed into your weapons, not your characters. In Endfield, each weapon has 3 stats: the attribute stat, the secondary stat, and the skill stat. These are tied to the weapon, so the same weapon will always have the same 3 stats. Each weapon having 3 stats aligns with each essence always dropping with 3 random stats. The attribute stat, as the name suggests, increases one of the 4 attributes or provides main attribute boost. You will ideally align the attribute stat with your operator's main attribute. Administrator, for example, has the main attribute of agility, so they will almost always be running an agility boost weapon. The secondary stat is taken from a fairly wide variety, but will always typically be some sort of boost to a stat like HP % or attack %, a specific damage type like heat or nature %, or arts intensity related. Lastly, the skill stat is what most players would consider the weapon's passive. The part before the colon is the part we're interested in. So in the example of Grand Vision, Administrator's signature, Infliction is the part that we're interested in. 2 different weapons may have the same skill stat category, but their passives will be completely different. For example, the Infliction on Administrator's signature grants physical damage when you apply Originium Seal or Solidification, while Infliction on Umbral Torch grants heat and nature damage when you apply Combustion or Corrosion. This is where essences come in. At purple and gold tier, essences roll 3 different stats. Your objective is to match these 3 stats to the 3 stats of the weapon that you wish to enhance. So in the case of Grand Vision, you'd be looking for an essence with agility boost, attack % boost, and infliction. In the case of Forgeborn Scathe, Laevatain signature, you'll want intellect boost, attack % boost, and twilight. This is where the grind comes in. When an essence drops, its stats can be any of the aforementioned attribute, secondary, or skill stats. You can get an essence with 3 attribute stats, for example, or perhaps an essence with 2 secondary stats and 1 skill stat. These kinds of essences would be bad to invest in because you'd never be able to bring out the full potential of a weapon using them. In my opinion, a good starting point while you shoot for your 3 out of 3 matching essence would be an essence that matches at least 2 out of 3. You also need to make sure that you're farming in the correct Illuvium. Each Illuvium has its own pool of stats that it can draw from. For example, the Illuvium in Wuling is the only one that can roll all 3 of Intellect Boost, Attack Boost, and Twilight, the 3 stats that match Laevatain's signature. Each Illuvium shows when you click the essence icon which stats it has and which weapons it is suitable for of the ones you own, which weapons it can match 3 out of 3 stats for. You can make your life somewhat easier by using the pre-engraving tickets available in the stock exchange at endgame. These allow you to pick 3 attribute stats, of which you're guaranteed 1, and either 1 secondary or skill stat to also guarantee. With just some napkin math on my end, we're looking at around a 1 in 57 to get the perfect essence for any given weapon. It's not amazing, but compared to other gacha games which have way more deep endgame grinds, it's pretty good. So, hypothetically, you get your 3 out of 3 gold tier essence. You're done, right? Well, not exactly. You've gotten through the hardest part, but now you have to etch the essence. I'll explain etching in just a second, but first let me revisit how upgrading weapons works. Weapons, as you upgrade them, increase both their starting and their cap for their attribute and secondary stat. A level 1 Grand Vision has initially 1 agility boost and 1 attack boost, with a cap of 3. As you level and tune it up to level 90, the initial stats will increase to 3, and the caps will increase to 9 respectively, alternating between the attribute and the secondary stat. The skill stat, on the other hand, always starts with an initial of 1 and a cap of 4, and this can only be increased by increasing the potential of the weapon, i.e. getting dupes, in which both are raised by 1 per dupe. At 5 dupes, you'd be looking at an initial stat of 6 and a cap of 9. So, you get your weapon to level 90, and you have a cap of 9 for the attribute and secondary stat. You don't have any duplicates, but that's fine. Dupes are pretty min-max anyway, so your skill stat cap is only 4. However, your initial stats are only 3, 3, and 1. This is where essences and etching them come in. By feeding essences to one another, aka etching them, you can target and increase any of the stats on an essence. For the attribute and secondary stat, this goes all the way up to +6. Combine this with the initial +3 from your weapon and you get +9, which is the max. For the skill stat, you can get your essence up to +3, which will always take you from your initial stat to your cap. The initial 3, 3, and 6 combined with your essences 6, 6, and 3 is what will get you your full 9s on a weapon. Etching essences is RNG, but you can never lose progress. As long as you have your 3 out of 3 matching essence to begin with, your foundation is solid. At any given step you have a small chance of direct success, but even if you don't directly succeed, you will always increment the pity counter. Given it enough time, you can always get an essence to the max. The difference between +3 and +9 is pretty staggering. Let's take Grand Vision and Administrator Signature, for example. Going from +3 agility boost to +9 would be an increase of 104 agility. That corresponds to about 52% attribute attack. That's an insane amount. The typical endgame DPS has around 500 to 600 of their primary attribute depending on the gear available to them. Getting +6 on your essence is literally around 1/5 to 1/6 of that number. Going from +3 to +9 attack boost is a difference of 26% attack. In a game where attack is very, very strong and fairly undiluted, this is an insane boost as well. Lastly, for the skill stat, going from +1 to +4 on a 0 dupes Grand Vision is a gain of 21.6% physical damage. This is also really insane. On the off chance that you max dupe Grand Vision, you'd be going from 57.6 at infliction level 4 to 100.8 at infliction level 10 for an increase of 43.2%. 100.8 is almost triple what the weapon has at infliction level 1, so needless to say it's very, very strong. I hope this video might have cleared up any questions you had about essences. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to get around to every single comment. I'm just starting out, so all engagement means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching.